record.
Can we get Caesar? Caesar! Can you put it Caesar sound? Can you say Caesar? David, can you ask Caesar? Water. Yeah. Usually there is.
So looking at it. I'm amazed that there's no sound to finish the sound.
Well, did you see the traffic? I guess
Traffic.
Brandon Biden's in town.
Oh,
They closed the 405. So I was on the 10.
Apologetic about this thing that
With what?
he's not apologetic about the guy trying to kill the Jews.
I didn't see it. I haven't seen anything. I haven't seen anything. When was that?
Oh, the mics are on.
He what? Oh. I didn't see anything. I'm not following it. Oh. But I do want to get some new equipment. That's what I'm thinking about.
For what?
Well, because I have a gig. It's just, I wish you could show up at the gig. It'd be so awesome. But I can't. It's like I'm just getting paid a good amount for the amount of time. Anyway. But it's like I can do anything I want. So I'm going to do like classical. I'm going to do jazz with tracks, pop with tracks, my own stuff with tracks. But I don't want to just use the amp, the little Fishman, because it's a very big, very big.
You can hire the sound.
I don't have that much money to hire. I'm not getting that much to hire. If I was getting a lot more, I would hire somebody. I have to be my own team. Well, I don't want to rent. I want to just get like the Beau speaker, one big Beau speaker, the long, tall, skinny ones. No, they look so good. I like those.
Yeah, but they're expensive.
It's not that much. It's like $800. But I just don't know what else I need to. And I would like to have 3 inputs at once because a Fishman's only 2.
You need some more.
Well, even my Yamaha, I have a little Yamaha, but I have a little one, and you have to have a USB for the iPad, and I don't have a USB for my iPad. I only have to the 1/4 inch for the iPad. You know what I mean? I have
That's what you need.
I have that to
That's what I use.
the 1/4 inch for the Yamaha and the mics and the mic.
One end is 4-inch, the other end 4-inch stereo to the mono. There's cable. I think it was one of those cables.
I have the one for the 1/4 to put the. I have the 1/4 inch into the iPad, but the Fishman only has 2 inputs.
Well, you need one 1/4 inch. You need a cable that on one side is.
The 1/4 inch into the Yamaha thing, into the mixing.
Yeah, and the other side is for your iPad. Like this.
But I just don't think that the little Fishman is big enough sound for a huge courtyard.
Stereo to mono.
Oh, that's for the Yamaha? For the mixing little mixer.
Because you don't need stereo there.
Anyway, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know. Are we gonna start at 6?
The first new tune we're playing is Misha Berra. And second
Vishamro's new. Vishamro.
Vishamro is next.
That's it. The Uhula song that I don't have either.
Towards the end.
I don't think he only sent me one thing and I printed it. And then he fixed my book and took half of it out.
Oh, what was happening? You're not going to believe it. Maxine was out of his mind.
When? Huh?
University center.
When?
When he was subbing for you.
Oh, why was he out of his mind?
It was great. Very good. But you know his problem is, I hate to say it, great player, but he needs to get a better cello. The cello sounds. doesn't have a
body.
body, you know.
Well, you have to get out of the poor mentality.
Hitting. Yeah, I hurt my finger. As long as it's not a bird. One of my first, I cut it. And it's right in the bad spot where all the optics,
Good thing you don't have any strings.
especially play clarinet is hard.
Good, you don't have any strings to
Yeah,
play.
we do, yeah, oh, terrible.
Not too far. I like it nearby.
Did they give you any trouble?
No, I was surprised too because he was grilling the person in front of me, and I said,
Forever.
"Hi, it's Hope Easton." He goes, "Oh, you can go." It was like really weird because he like the person.
You didn't ask for your papers or anything?
No, but the girl in front of me. He was like everything.
Similarly, if John was like, you were late, I was like, I was here on time. That dude took 15 minutes checking people.
No, looks like a little longer side or something.
My dad was called at 25, so the fact that I ran any, I think I'm good.
You're going through the mom's side though.
No, I know, but like,
No, but you know, the balding goes to the mother's and not the father. So the mom's side.
yeah, for the parents, yeah, and my dad died, I think 4 years ago, my age. He was already so, I think I'm good to go.
He's a balding. No, it doesn't go from the father's side though. It can only go from the female.
But isn't that half of my genetics? I know it's
Doesn't matter.
like, doesn't matter at all. Even a little.
Well,
It's half of my genetic makeup.
yeah, it goes to the female side. So if you, it's like if you have a kid that, if your girlfriend's dad is balding, then the kid might be bald. You know what I mean?
No, I mean, that's what
I know it's weird, but it's only to the female side.
No, that's what I've always heard, so I'm not, questioning.
2 minutes we got. All the usual stuff.
You have the
Are you
list
singing
of everything,
housekeeping?
right?
Oh, wait, but whatever.
We're gonna do, soul sounds, Okay. Gonna start with Hina Minto.
Alright. And then
No
Candace.
towels for you?
Outside. I thought you'd go limit.
And, I would have. Well, this is like tone very light.
Yeah, that's like,
Right. Yeah, man, those were good. It was a lifesaver. Right.
Oh, Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
This is so nice. This is so nice to be out here together. Well, last week was the first week.
Last week was the first
I wasn't
time
here.
back outside.
I wasn't here. It's just so
Right?
so nice. Feels so normal, which is so long overdue. In that spirit, take just a second to turn to somebody sitting near you, near-ish to you, preferably someone's car you didn't come here in. Introduce yourself. Wish them a Shabbat Shalom.
Hi, Bill. I'm Hope. Shabbat Shalom.
Congregate Mark Lipson. He's a banker. Probably not.
Mark's a Cantor in Connecticut. I think Stanford. He's a universe.
You're supposed to go.
We'll begin our service tonight on page 10. Page 10 with the words of Hine Matov. How good, how wonderful it is that we can just sit and be together.
Your job is to fill this space with your song. Hine matov alayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov alayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov alayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov alayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov alayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov alayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov, hine matov, la 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 la. Hine matov, hine matov, la 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 la. Hine matov alayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov alayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov, hine matov, la 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 la. Hine matov, hine matov, la 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 la. Hine matov alayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov alayim, shevet achim gam yachad.
We welcome Shabbat with Shabbat Light with the lighting of our Shabbat candles on page 2. And it's my pleasure to invite two of our B'nai Mitzvah for tomorrow morning, Zach and Geffen, up along with their families to help us light our Shabbat candles. I know they've been practicing this part all week.
Come on, the whole family. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
We'll turn now to page 20 for Lachadodi, for the ancient mystical poem that 16th century poet Shlomo Halevi Alkabetz, mystic in Sfat, composed, that imagines that on Friday evenings as the sun sets, that Shabbat arrives into our world, into our lives, in much the same way a bride arrives at a wedding. Cantor, Gurney and I were under the chuppah with a beautiful couple this morning, and the bride appeared, and there's that moment of magic, that moment of majesty, and we imagine that that's what we feel when Shabbat enters our lives and our world. So we'll join together in verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. And when we reach verse 9, we'll rise and turn and face the parking lot as if to greet that Shabbat bride.
Shabbat nekabela, echadodi likrat kala, inni Shabbat nekabela, echadodi likrat kala, inni Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor v'tipur echad, ishmi'anu el hamiyuchad. Adonai echad, u'shamo echad, l'shem udveret v'tehiyila. L'chadoni likrat kara, v'ni Shabbat nikavela. L'chadoni likrat kara, v'ni Shabbat nikavela. Likrat Shabbat v'kuvenei lecha, kim lekor habracha, mehirosh mikedem lechucha, so ta'aseh b'machshavat tchila. Lecha Adoni likrat kala, v'ni Shabbat nikavela. Lecha Adoni likrat kala, verse 5. Hitoreri, himore kumi, uri, shir gameri, kevod Adonai alay nigla, lechadoni likrat kala, v'ni Shabbat nikavela. Shabbat nekavela. Boi v'shalom ateret bala, gam b'simcha v'tzahola, toch emunei am sigula. Chala, boi chala, Adoni likrat kala, v'ni Shabbat nikavela. Adoni likrat kala, v'ni Shabbat nikavela. Adoni likrat kala.
We'll turn to page 24, continue with Shalom Aleichem as we welcome our Shabbat angels.
We can be seated.
Hold on 1 second.
Shalom
exercise for the Baruch Hu, page 28. Turn to page 32 for Ahavat Olam.
Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha Avtah, Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל, שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני
except for our Tu B'nai Mitzvah.
So, B'nai
Sorry.
Mitzvah, come up here with your prayer books, and you will lead us, but have no fear. We will join with you. Come right here, darling. We'll each use our own microphone. Let's see. I would go from here.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Page 40, we'll join together in our Song of Freedom, our redemption song, Mi Chamocha.
חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני, גאל ישראל. אמן.
Page 42, Hashgivenu, our evening prayer that asks God to spread a sukkot shlomecha, a shelter of peace over us, over those we love, over our world that so desperately needs it as we make our way into these next 25 peaceful and beautiful hours, restful hours of Shabbat.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, l'shalom, v'hamidenu malkeinu l'chaim. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Turn the page. Vishamru, this Torah text, commands us to observe Shabbat as a symbol from generation to generation. Right? For in 6 days God created the world, and even God rested on the 7th day. And this beautiful setting is centered on that peacefulness of Shabbat. Vishamru. Vishamru Bnei Yisrael et HaShabbat et HaShabbat La'asot et HaShabbat Ledorotam Berit Olam B'nei Reuven B'nei Yisrael Oti L'Olam Ki Sheshet Yamim Asa Adonai Et HaShamayim Et Haaretz Uvayom HaShevi Shabbat Vayinafar
We'll turn now to page 46 and rise for the Amidah.
Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi yagid hiratecha Baruch ata Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak ve'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el HaGadol, HaGibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, ve'Koneh HaKol, ve'Zocher Chaste Avot ve'Imahot, U'Mevi Geula Livnei V'nehem, Leman Shemo be'ahava, Melech Ozer u'Moshiach u'Magen Baruch Ata Adonai Magen Avraham ve'Ezrat Sarah Ata Gibor le'olam Adonai Mechayei HaKol Ata Rav v'Hoshia Morid Hatal Mechalkel Chaim b'Chesed Mechaye HaKol berachamim rabim, somech noflim berofei cholim, umatir asurim, umekayem emunato lishenei afar, mi chamocha ba'al gevurot, umidom melach, Melech mimid umechaya umatzmiach Yeshua v'ne'eman ata lehachayot hakol Baruch ata Adonai mechayei hakol.
Continue with the remainder of our Amidah silently through page 62, either with the words on the pages of the prayer book or the words of our hearts. We take a moment amidst our joy and our celebration on the Shabbat to think of loved ones, family members, members of our community who are in need of healing. in need of wholeness. And in a moment, in the middle of page 253, we'll offer a Mishaberach, a prayer of healing for them. Tonight, we're particularly thinking of Charles Schwartz, Marcy Segal, and Alan Sorority. If you know of someone who could use a bit of wholeness, a bit of healing, I invite you to stand at this time, and as my eyes meet yours, to share that name aloud.
שבירך אבותינו אברהם, יצחק ויעקב, מי שבירך אמותינו שרה, רבקה, לאה ורחל, may the one who blessed the ones before us hear our prayer and bless us as well. Bless us with the power of your healing. Bless us with the comfort from above. May the pain and loneliness we're feeling be lessened by the power of your love. Misheberach Avoteinu, Abraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov. Misheberach Imotenu, Sarah, Rivka, Leah, Rachel. May the one who blessed the ones before us hear our prayer and bless us as well. Bless us with the promise of tomorrow. Bless us with the strength to find our way. May the warmth of friendship ease our sorrow and give us faith to face another day. Bless us with the promise of tomorrow. Bless us with the strength to find our way. May the warmth of friendship ease our sorrow and give us faith to face another day. May the one who blessed the ones before us hear our prayer and bless us as well.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. So one of the best parts of my job is that I get to spend time with our nursery school students on Shabbat mornings. And simply put, they're adorable. And that's a real statement because at the moment, I don't have a kid in the nursery school. but they're adorable. They wear raincoats when it's 72 degrees outside, complete with the galoshes that match. They wear tutus when there isn't a ballet recital in sight. And they don't think twice about wearing a Halloween costume in the middle of May. Or, as one of my favorite children many, many years ago at the Glazer campus, I noticed after a few weeks that every single Friday he was wearing a bumblebee costume. And after several months of this, I asked his teacher, I said, does he wear this every week? And she said, no, Rabbi, he wears it every day.
Yeah.
And on Shabbat morning, we carry the Torah around the room, and rather than the gentle, touch and kiss, by the way, it's touch and kiss, not kiss and touch. Nobody ever knows. Bring the Torah to you. Rather than the gentle touch and kiss, they wrap their arms around it, and they give it a big bear hug. It's a beautiful sight. And in part, it's because of that genuine, authentic, unbridled emotion. And it's a beautiful sight because they could care less about what anybody else in the room thinks of them. They could care less about looking silly. They could care less about being different. It just doesn't occur to them. It's a shame that most of us outgrow that. And truth be told, most of us, at one time or another in our lives, have just wanted to fit in. After all, it's not easy to feel different or to be different. But as Jews, we're used to feeling different. Often we feel particularly different than our neighbors. But even within our tradition, there are groups of Jews who feel and are distinctively different than the rest of us. We learn about one such group in this week's Torah portion, the Nazarites. They abstain from drinking alcohol, including wine, anything, in fact, made from grapes. Makes Kiddush a little tough. They don't cut the hair on their heads, and they refuse to go anywhere near a dead body, including those of their immediate family. And as a result, they separated themselves from mainstream Jewish community. And how do you think our ancestors responded to them? They ostracized them. Even the rabbis of the Talmud and the Midrashim condemn them. They go so far as to say that if we encounter someone who's about to take a vow like this, to become a Nazarite, we should say to them, aren't all the commandments and prohibitions in the Torah enough for you? Not exactly the model of tolerance or inclusivity. But the Nazarites remain committed, proud of who they are and what they believe in. They stand up for themselves and stand out. They embrace their uniqueness rather than try to hide it. How many of us can say the same? Of course we all want to fit in, to be accepted, not to stand out too much. But a monolithic society in which everyone looks the same, dresses the same, speaks the same, has the same tastes, opinions, and beliefs would be an incredibly boring place to live. It would be a world I doubt any one of us would want to live in. So as the luckiest generation of Jews who have ever lived, we have the security and the opportunity to embrace our uniqueness, to stand up, to stand out, and to be different. Shabbat Shalom. Just a couple of brief announcements before we conclude the service. First and foremost, a very, very special thank you to all of our musicians for being here tonight. We got the band back together.
That's right. Bill Beck on the keys. Jordan Ross on percussion. For those of you who don't know Jordan, Jordan is a longtime member of this temple, but also he graduated from that school. That very school.
Yesterday.
Right?
Yesterday was graduation.
No? That's right.
Okay.
That's a few years ago. Hope Easton on cello. Leo Shelyapov on clarinet and flute and duduk. I'm grateful to all of you for bringing such beautiful music to this beautiful space for all of us.
At the risk of embarrassing him, Bill, you're in your 50th year. This is like a year-long celebration, right? Bill Beck has been our accompanist for 50 years, which is incredible because he's only 38. Thank you, Bill. We're doing a temple-wide survey apparently, and we'd like all temple members to complete it. So please take a moment, check your email, and click the link. We really appreciate your time in helping us to make the temple an even better and more special place.
It's good to know that. It's first either one of us is hearing about this.
I don't think I've gotten that email yet, but I'm sure it's coming. Don?
I'm sure it's for you guys, not for us.
I'm sure it's coming. And a very heartfelt mazel tov to Zach and to Geffen and your families as you're both called to the Torah tomorrow as B'nai Mitzvah. We're lucky to have you as part of the Jewish family of the Jewish people. With that, we'll turn to page 282, page 282, the bottom of the page, and we'll rise for Aleinu.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים משתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא ונאמר היה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא ביום ושמו אחד.
Be seated. We turn our thoughts now to sacred moments of memory, moments of Kaddish, as we recall loved ones, family members, members of our community who are no longer with us. If you're here tonight to say Kaddish for a loved one, we ask that you rise at this time. We begin by thinking of those for whom we're in a period of shloshim, those who have died during these past 30 days. As we call to mind Jessica Baer, Robert Bob Feldman, Ronald Fishman, Jay Goldberg, Helen Roseman, Frank Rosenblum, Sylvia Schlosser, Myron Mike Scholem, Ralph Silberman, Sonia Wallen, Joseph David Weissman, Joanne Wolf, and Bert Zweig. We add to their names the names of those whose yard sites occurred during this past week: Sandra Aisley, Marion Paula Alpert, Raymond Alpert, Lillian Baker, Abraham Barbaro, Harold Benjamin, Susan Blum, Theodore Brenner, Kenneth Brookman, Cheryl Cheetah, David Chernoff, Bernard Cooper, Nisha Dane, Charles Daum, Bessie Enton, Mary Epstein, Burton Fine, Harry Feldman, Sarah Fields, Barry Fisher, Terry Ann Fox Tree, Marlene Friedman, Alice Friedman, Dorothy Gersten, Lori Gompers, Sheila Green, Joanne Greenwald, Louis Hausman, Eleanor Hilbron, Louis Iskowitz, Erwin Jameson, Mary Janole, Edith Jarich, William Cates, Edie Katz, Barbara Kaiser, Helen Klein, Alan Kopelman, Lenore Kuntz, Ayor Landa, Ida Limon, Robert Leff, Ronald Leaf, Devora Levney, Ruth Lunine, Stephanie Lieberger, Cyril Magnan, Donald Marin, Mitchell Moore, Melvin Morgan, Darcy Notkin, Leo Orston, Seidel Perlman, Michael Phillips, Richard Popkin, Bessie Provisor, Blanche Pullman, Kenneth Randall, Marguerite Rissman, Herbert Rose Sr., Sue Rosenberg, Marcia Rosenoff, Donald Rossman, Iris Rower, Maybelle Samter, Al Savid, Frank Schiller, Betty Schwartz, Anna Segal, Samuel Schomstein, Evelyn Sidney Francis Silver, Cynthia Silverstein, Morton Slater, Ray Slutsky, Cecilia Sonnenberg, Ruth Spielberg, Charles Stern, Lawrence Tapper, George Topas, Jerry Turtle, Rose Vitoff, Sarah Wagner, Jack Waldo, Alex Weiskopf, Arlene Weeder, Sally Werner, Marvin Wolf, Hortense Wolf, Frank Zaitchek, and Jill Zuboff. If there are names to add or a name that I've mispronounced, please feel free to add it at this time. We also call to mind those to whom we are grateful but do not know, those who have fallen defending the flags of the United States of America, the State of Israel. All the innocent victims of senseless terrorism and violence all over the world, and everyone who has no one to say Kaddish for them. Zichronam livracha, may their memories always be for a blessing. We take them all into our heart as our own as we rise together from the Mourner's Kaddish, page 294. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, ve'alma divrach chilutei ve'amlich malchutei, v'chayechon v'yomechon, v'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'vizman kari v'imru amen. Yehi shemei Rabbah mevorach le'alam u'lalmei amaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitroman v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei d'kudsha barichu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, Tush bechata v'nechemata, the Amiran ve'alma v'imru, amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, u'yaseh shalom.
Shalom bimroma, uyaseh shalom aleinu. Oseh shalom bimroma, uyaseh shalom aleinu. Oseh shalom bimroma, uyaseh shalom aleinu. Yaseh shalom. Shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al Yisrael. Yaseh shalom b'maroma, yaseh shalom aleinu. Yaseh shalom. Roma, Yaseh Shalom Aleinu. Oseh Shalom Roma, Yaseh Shalom Aleinu. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom. Shabbat shalom, everyone. Thank you.
Please join us in Kiddush and Motzi.
That's right. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר קידשנו במצוותיו ורצה בנו בשבת קודשו באהבה וברצון הנחילנו זיכרון למעשה בראשית כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש זכר יציאת מצרים כי בנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת amen l'chaim. Of course, at the Kiddush table in the back, as soon as we're finished here, you can go and get some grape juice and challah and whatever else is on that table. Let's join together now in Motzi. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzini lechem min haaretz. Amen. Shabbat shalom, everyone. Mazal tov to our B'nai Mitzvah. Tomorrow you'll be fantastic, I know. Enjoy every moment. Absolutely.